Treksploration.
Hello, Treksplorers, and welcome back to Treksploration. I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris, and I feel like I'm talking to one of Biff's goons from Back to the Future 2. What do you have on your face, sir?
That's what I was going for. Well, these are my new safety goggles. So I was watching, what was I watching? Something with, I think it was Back to the Future Trilogy and the behind-the-scenes features. And I think it was Doc Brown had some steampunk glasses on, right? So I was like, oh, that's a cool idea for like safety goggles, because I got the standard safety goggles for me and Serenity's science experiments and electronics and stuff.
So I have to ask, is my conversation that vitriolic that you feel you need safety goggles even when we're just speaking over mic?
No, but I went to go get those because I thought those would be cool for my Station 823 channel. And then I saw steampunk goggles that light up, and I was like, oh, those are cool. And then when I clicked on those, 5 other glasses that light up came up, and I was like, oh, these.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
So that's a thing. That's a story.
Yeah. So that's what
I like them either way. I mean, they're looking fantabulous.
They look better in the dark, but they're showing up on camera all right, I think.
Don't we all look better in the dark?
Yes. I look amazing in the dark. I look amazing soaking wet in the dark from 15 feet away, like all my cars.
There we go. So, I mean, that's something for me to aspire to.
Today, we were talking about Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 4, I think, A Farewell to Farms.
A Farewell to Farms.
Farms, not arms. Original air date, November 7th, 2024, written by Diana Tay and directed by Megan Lloyd. How you doing, Chris?
I'm all right. I went to the doctor today and I got myself an echocardiogram.
Is that because of advanced age?
Yeah, I guess so. I went to the doctor for the first time. Listen, your health scare kind of, whipped me into, I should say whipped me out of my complacency when it comes to getting checkups and stuff. So I went for my first physical in about 5 years the other week. And she told me that I needed to go for an echocardiogram because I have a family history of heart disease. I mean, luckily they have not, it was all preventative, all sort of like, let's rule stuff out. Not there's something we suspect. Let's go verify or not.
Yeah, because you're your age and you're handsome and stuff. So,
we're all handsome in the dark, soaking wet from 15 feet
away. Exactly. They tried to do that with me, and they took a family history and they wanted to run all these tests. I was like, hey, don't hold them against me. Leave me alone.
I got to tell you though, part of the way the thing works is you're lying on a table in an exam room, and the nurse, or I guess it's some kind of practitioner, she's got the probe. It's the son, because it's just basically a sonogram of your heart. So they put the probe on your chest and they make you lie down on your side and then on your back. And I said, by the end of that thing, I was dozing off. It was just such a beautiful little nap. My hair still looks a little wonky, like I still have bedhead from it. And no, it was this afternoon. So, God, it was more than 12 hours ago. Nah, not quite.
Wow.
But we'll go long enough where it will be more than 12 hours ago. Mark my words, if I know us.
Definitely. We got some chats. We got Willard, of course. And he says, where's the pew pew button?
Pew, 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 pew. I guess that's because we premiered tonight on Twitch.
Yeah, we're on Twitch, and we don't know Twitch yet. So welcome.
Aren't people watch video games on Twitch? So yeah, this is us playing video games. I'm dying again. I hate video games.
All right, we can do that. Hey yo, Don says, hey yo,
Don,
and he says, I want Albie's glasses. All right.
I'm sorry, Don. Every time I look at your name, I have the song "Has Been" in my head when they sing "Two Thumbs Down." If you haven't heard the Shatner album "Has Been," it is a masterpiece. I would recommend that to anybody.
One. Looks like Willard's on Twitch.
Entire album.
Ruffalo Taco. Hello, Treksplorers.
Hey, Ruffalo. Roll for Taco.
Look futuristic. Thank you. That's what kind of I'm going for. Being in a space station, I don't want to look too retro.
I mean, you could look like Barbarella. That would be cool too.
Dude, do you know how they did that opening scene of Barbarella? I just found out because I watched the 4K disc.
I have my own answer.
Okay.
They did it very, very well.
Well, very well. Have you seen it in 4K? It's worth dropping the money.
I have not.
Don says pure awesomeness they are. I'm thinking the glasses or Barbarella. Don't know. So this is how they did it. Do you want me to spoil it? Because once you know, it's like,
I kind of know. Did she do it and then they shot it in reverse? Or
well, I'm talking about like the opening credits where she's floating around nude.
Yeah, she's floating around. Yeah, and she's like, is she getting dressed or is she getting? I've seen it a million times.
I think she's getting undressed from the spacesuit and then dressed normal clothes. But it's basically the 2001 floating pen trick, but to a greater extent. Like thick glass she's on, and they're like moving the camera, moving the set, and moving the glass. So you can't really like pin down what's going on. But once you notice she's just rolling around on glass, then it doesn't look as future.
Yeah, but you say that, but then you think of like I don't know, what's the Gene Kelly movie where he's dancing on the ceiling? Like,
oh yeah, that's a good one. And you still think he is dancing on the ceiling, even
right? Yeah, even if you know that's a rotating room, and you can sort of see him transitioning as it turns. It's still an amazing effect. So, but plus, I don't think anybody's looking for glass in that. They're looking. Is that top see through? Is it not see through? It's kind of see through.
I think she's totally nude in that.
Wow, it's been a while.
I watched it originally on full screen Laserdisc. It was one of like the first lot of Laserdisc I found in real life as an adult. So I enjoyed watching that, but now that I got it on 4K, wow.
Yeah, it's a very visually arresting film. Boobies aside.
Yeah, even without them. Ruffalo Taco, Roll for Taraco says, I came over from YouTube. All right.
Is he on Riverside or on?
I'm not sure. People might be twitching. Don says, I'll check it out. And the glasses originally, but now both. So does he want Barbarella also on 4K? I could make that happen.
I guess he's saying Barbarella rolling in anything is great.
Right? Yeah. It's a good show. Okay. Maybe the Barbarella podcast to come. So, first impression.
Who better than us?
First impression, Chris, of A Farewell to Farms.
This sure was an episode of Lower Decks. How about you, Albie?
Oh, really? I enjoyed it. This one I liked. It kind of grabbed me right from the opening, where it was just a different opening and it was more cinematic, maybe.
Very much so. I was just teasing you because I just wanted you to go, oh no.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, a lot of stuff to like in this episode. I loved the opening. I loved how cinematic it was. I loved like the score. It was just so different and so it actually made me a little sad for what this show could be if they stopped with all the gags 24/7. If they just took time to breathe every once in a while. So yeah, I have a few thoughts on the episode, but overall I thought it was a fairly enjoyable outing of Lower Decks. How about yourself?
I really enjoyed it. I was kind of disappointed last week, so this week I was going to give it a chance, and it was when I found out it was a Klingon episode, I was kind of like, but then it wasn't like Klingon warrior honor and then slice. It was more like a day in the life on the planet. Yes, he was trying to get back to being a captain and such, but it was still like we're seeing farmers, we're seeing other people, so it was nice just to see not everyone being a captain or on a starship. Somebody's got to do the rest of the work. So
yeah. I make mention of that in my prologue, actually, in my synopsis. So I agree with that. It's nice to see something going on Qou'noS that isn't just all about councils, and although there are councils in this, but outside of a council chamber, outside of changelings and Gowron and honor battles and Duras's and all of the freaking intrigue. Where do you stand on Klingon stuff? Because I don't think we've ever really discussed it. It hasn't come up yet in Next Gen. So
some of it I like, but it's too one note for me. It's the same thing all the time. So that's why I think I enjoyed this more. And I would have enjoyed more if the whole story was kind of like one of those peanut hamper episodes where it's just a totally separate story and it was about Klingons on a farm. That would have been great. That would have been taking it to the next level, but they gotta Lower Decks a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, I guess. And the Lower Decks bits of this, I kind of liked the Boehm stuff anyway. And we can talk about the other plot. That's he's a nice mug, Chris. I think he's actually talking about.
Back to the Future. Dun, 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 dun,
Did you
dun,
know
dun,
it's the
dun.
musical?
Yep.
They're closing in January.
That's so sad.
Yeah, I don't know if we discussed this on the show already, but if you haven't
No,
seen
I
it
don't think
yet,
so.
everybody run to New York City, Winter Garden Theater. They're gearing up to close in about 6 or 7 weeks, I think.
I think we found out right before we went on live when we had our Back to the Future outfits on, but I don't think we talked about it because it was too traumatizing at the moment.
Too traumatizing, yeah.
We were
Yeah,
still
that's right. I
processing.
remember that time when we cosplayed Back to the Future on a Star Trek podcast for absolutely no reason.
For absolutely no reason. Yeah. Why was it? Oh, I just had my new Marty McFly thing. Yeah, but that's kind of sad. I hope, is it still open in London or the Traveling Troupe? Because I was hoping the Traveling Troupe would come around here. Because we have
I don't know.
really nice local theater that those all come to.
IDK, my friend.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I saw it here and I saw it with the Traveling Troupe. I saw it upstate. So
there's got to be the Traveling Troupe. You would think that would make a ton of money across the country.
You would hope. But
yeah. Did you see Death Becomes Her just opened? I don't know if you're a fan of that movie, but that's another Robert.
You know what? That's
movie.
one I remember it coming out. I remember like Goldie Hawn with a hole through her body. That's the only thing I remember about that movie.
Glenn Close, Robert Zemeckis, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Isabella Rossellini, I believe, too. Willard says, I'm guessing Albie didn't see any of the Boimler scenes with that staring away.
What with staring anywhere but at when was
yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it went back from a beard to a mustache for me because the mustache was so much more prominent than the beard. So it freaked me out a little bit.
So Don says he thought the A plot was solid, which I guess is the Klingon plot, but the B plot was fun, but mids.
Yeah.
All
right. I'm sure we'll get into a lot more of that. But Chris, before we get really into the Lower Decks, could you read for us the episode synopsis of Star Trek Lower Decks, A Farewell to Farms, Season 5, Episode 4?
It's so hard to say goodbye. Isn't that like an NSYNC song or
to
something?
Yesterday.
All right, we open on Qou'noS seeing a different side of Klingon culture for perhaps the first time on Star Trek, unless maybe you count that chef on DS9, not DS9 Machina, DS9, life on the farm of former Captain Mock and his brother Malor. Last we saw Mock, he was stranded with Mariner on a hostile planet for reasons I can't remember until they worked together to overcome adversity or something and became fast friends. Anyway, Mock's comm keeps blinking with an incoming Starfleet transmission, but he steadfastly denies it, opting instead to wrestle targs and harvest worms for blood wine. But as he is delivering the latest vintage to a seedy Klingon bar, his brush with Beckett catches up with him as she and Boimler burst in. Mariner is shocked to see that Mock has traded in his captain's sash for overalls. He explains that he was stripped of rank for allowing his crew to mutiny. Incensed, Mariner vows to help him regain his command. They go to the Klingon Oversight Council to plead their case, meeting Mock's greatest adversary, the fleet commander, Barg, whose brother Mock killed. Nothing doing, petaQ, says Barg. But a newly enthusiastic Boimler steps in with the obscure Klingon ritual of Jiturg that, if completed successfully, will return Mock to the captain's chair. The only catch? Mock, Malor, Boimler, and Mariner have to take part, and the ritual is potentially lethal. Also, there's some BSB plot with the Cerritos and Miggly Moo trying to impress some douchey Kulawakians. So anyway, that's this time on Star Trek Lower Decks.
That sums it up. Did you have to pause and like write down from closed captioning all those names and stuff?
Here's what I do. I'll get the first couple of names, and then I know somebody's already recapped this stuff. So then I write. So this is really the process. So I don't get influenced by what other people write. Mm-hmm. I write my whole thing, and then I leave like question marks or X's where the names should be. And then I look up the names as I peruse other people's reviews or summaries or whatever. But I try to be as authentically Chris as I can when I'm writing these things, you know?
That was very authentically Chris.
So, Yeah, I mean, we've talked a little bit about it, but let's before we go get poked with paint sticks, why don't we tell people how they can reach us besides here live? You can reach us live right now.
We're live.
Unless you're watching the recording of this, then you can't reach us live right now.
No.
Sorry, you're out. You're out. So you're going to be stuck with going to patreon.com/Treksploration. That's where we have our hub of discussion where you can become an intrepid Treksplorer. Join our family over there. You can comment here on YouTube, youtube.com/Treksploration, right down below in the comments. You can get us on Insta, Treksploration Pod. You can get us on X @Treksploration. Email us, treksplorationpod@gmail.com. Call us on the telephone, 707-847-6682. That's 707-847-6682. Send us something to the post office box. That's P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York 11705. P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York 11705. And as we have already mentioned, we are now on Twitch. You can watch us on Twitch and come. How does Twitch work? Is it just live and that's that? Or do they have like archived? Or yeah, we're both like throwing our hands up.
I don't know. Guess what? We got a TikTok too. I don't know how to dance. But
I can't even do that floss dance that the kids are they still doing it?
I can't do it. You got to have a. I've done some TikTok dances because Serenity makes me, and she wanted us to do a TikTok
she
dance.
Makes you. You make her.
when we were in New Hampshire, we forgot about it until like it was too late. Like you had already left, or we were on our way out, or something. But she wants us to do a TikTok dance for our TikTok, but. I was gonna hook up all the things so we could go live streaming and everything. So for Facebook live stream, we have to have their page. I made a page today. Go get the page. I don't know how to do that. Search for it, but you have to have it for 60 days before you can stream on it. So that's no good for 2 months. And then TikTok, you need 1,000 followers before you can live stream. So I don't know what that's about.
Oh, okay.
But I made the pages. But I think we're on Twitch. Are we twitching? What does Roll for Tarako say?
He's saying he watched Death Becomes Her way too many times to count.
That's a good one.
He's asking, is that a new shirt, Authentically Chris? I don't even understand the reference.
Oh, you wanted to be Authentic Chris. Oh, he's noticing your new uniform, Chris.
Oh, you know what? I threw on this red shirt because I said, let me get something that pops against the white background.
It does pop. It's like lip gloss.
And then I guess this is my Trek and Tell. I'm going to show right now because we're going to talk about it because it's almost apocryphal, right? I got to find it here. So it's hard to like point on camera. You got to like actually look down.
Yeah, mirrored or not. Yeah.
So this is, even though it's a little too high up on my shirt, this is probably the first bit of Trek, I guess, swag that I bought at a con. Nice. I got this in 1988.
The 1900s?
1900s. My first year, my freshman year at Stony Brook University. I went to the Icon convention there, and I had no idea what a con was. I didn't know what panels were. All I did was go to the Javits Center, walk around where I usually go to class, like poke my head and see people talking. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's about. And then I went to the dealer's room where I found, I believe it was so weird. I think there I got some pictures of the Marx Brothers, like black and white 8x10s. And I got some cast photos of like Star Trek from the Wrath of Khan era, like the cast photo, but they were all black and white. And then I found this in the dealer's room too. And I got this and I loved it so much. It immediately went onto the lapel of my denim jacket. Mm-hmm. Well, the jacket's gone, but this is in like, I don't have much jewelry. Like I have a watch, I have some cufflinks that are kind of rusting, and I have this in like the little thing that I keep my jewelry in. I even lost my wedding ring. Actually, I'm married to the Atlantic now because I lost my ring in the ocean. Yeah, she already knows. I mean, the sea is a harsh mistress. Imagine what kind of wife it is. Anyway, so I got this, and then I said, "Oh, let me put on the red shirt, but I have no Trek until, so let me put on my little badge." And then I realized, "Oh, I'm a walking apocrypha here. I'm a walking continuity error." Because this is a red shirt, but I have a command patch. Oh, well. Oh, well.
Don
So,
says, brave choice. Red
brave.
shirt.
Thank you, Don. You couldn't think of any safer bit of Trek swag to get than a mission patch.
Roll for Tarako says, is there a Treksploration MySpace? Good idea.
We
Why
only
not?
have
Let's
one.
do it.
We only have one viewer, and it's that guy Tom. Wasn't that Tom was the automatic friend on MySpace?
Hey, I wouldn't mind Tom being my friend. That'd be cool. Yeah, he was my friend for a while. Hey, I met one of my wives on MySpace. Well, kind of.
But
long story.
That sounds like the setup for a joke.
But
I was waiting for like a Henny Youngman type.
Take my wife, please. Take my wharf, please. Right? That's from the Joe Piscopo episode. Miggly Moo. I like Miggly Moo, so it was interesting to see him do something.
I mean, I guess. Are we going to call out? Did we shoot out? We never shouted out our Treksplorers.
Oh, you got to do that. Shout them out, and then we got feedback too.
Yeah, we got feedback.
I'm just so anxious to talk.
We have an announcement.
Cloaca.
Yeah.
What's the plural of cloaca? Is it cloacas or cloaca?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of those. Yes. So yeah, we want to thank our current crew of Treksplorers. They are our cadet Listen Linda, our Lieutenant Commander Scott Seligman, Cosplay Dad, and one of all, and our Captain Charles from Texas.
Captain
Charles from Texas, and we also have a new patron. Albie, you have to explain to me what I should say here. How are we framing this? Are we doing this?
I think we'll mention it next time, but. There are other tiers, and message us for those. How's that?
Okay, that's a tease, and we're going to mention it next time.
But we're very excited to have a new tier and a new patron.
And a new patron.
Thank you so much.
To be named later.
Yes.
I wonder if they're on this live feed. Maybe. Anyway, but yeah, exciting things afoot.
We can keep the show going for quite a bit more now.
Yeah. Well, we also have an email from our good friend Willard, who is a longtime watcher / listener. And Willard writes, "Hey, Albie and Chris, it's been a bit since my last email. Albie, I want to suggest Knocking on Heaven's Door as your new theme song. I'm sorry to hear about your recent hospitalization." So would it be the Bob Dylan version or the Guns N' Roses version?
I grew up with the Guns N' Roses one. So I don't know.
I get the Bob Dylan, you get the Guns N' Roses. We'll see how my echocardiogram turns out. Anyway,
I maybe not Heaven's Door, but I was definitely going down that long dark tunnel.
I'm sorry to hear about your recent hospitalization, but I'm glad you're back in good health. I spent 4 days in the hospital myself last month when my kidneys decided to shut down due to the medication I was on. God damn it, I am a lucky bastard. I'm sorry to hear about that, Willard. In my case, it was my doctor who called me and told me to call 911. Unfortunately, this medication did wonders for my fibro pain, and since getting off it, my pain level has risen considerably. I'm on more powerful medication now that I didn't want to get on in the first place, but it's my only option. I also want to add, Albie, that I get what you're going through with Lyme disease, as those of us with fibromyalgia have gone through the same thing with not being believed. Fortunately, my country bumpkin of a doctor, only one in town, is an expert on fibromyalgia and even studied at the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic.
I love Mayo on everything.
It's delicious. On the latest advancements, Mayo on fibromyalgia. What a sandwich. Hopefully, you'll be able to find someone, maybe try searching to see if there's any resources online.
I need to do more research and find somebody.
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate, but a lot of these times with stuff like this, you just got to be your own advocate. As for going to a live format, I'm excited. My sleep schedule is really strange and not regular at all. I'm not regular at all, but it's not about sleep. So I know ahead of time when there's going to be. So if I know ahead of time when there's going to be a show, I'll do my best to make sure I'm up for it. I missed your first show because I was sleeping when Albie put the information out. Oh, Albie, you're such a bad host. This is a short email. Nothing to add to any of the recent episodes, including binary, which is what I always call 100111101 or whatever it is. I didn't look up the right number combination. You got it right. You nailed it, Willard.
Awesome.
Love Willard. I added the love. P.S. Willard writes, I sent a picture of my dog Goober a while back, and wow, does she look good at the end of the episodes when the picture scrolled by. I had I had said at the time that I would send pictures of my other 2 dogs when I emailed again, and then promptly forgot with a few new emails. So here's both of them. The black lab is Lemonade, and the little one is Got Milk.
Aww.
Aww.
That's so cute. Yeah, they already made the pictures a couple episodes because I jumped in there and got those pictures because we hadn't done Next Gen in a couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll get Too Short a Season done soon.
Yeah. I think it's just been a little bit of a process. We've had the month of Matt. We've had a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on. So
yeah,
and I think everybody's watching Lower Decks anyway. I think it's a little bit more important to be talking about these.
Yeah, we want people to jump in. People looking around for like after shows for that. So that's a good idea to get those done first. Willard, I'm so sorry you have to deal with fibromyalgia. I dated a woman that had it one time, and it is horrible. And invisible illnesses, diseases, it's the worst because everybody looks at you and expects everything out of you that a normal super soldier would be able to do, but you're dying inside just trying to keep yourself up sometimes, and people expect more than you. And I think what's worse and more disappointing is like people that are supposed to love you or be your life partner not believing you. And it gets tough. So I feel you, Willard, and I appreciate you sharing that. And, it's important, and I hope you feel better.
Yeah, I like the fact that we go off on tangents like this and we can explore different things with each other, with our audience, just to make this a space where people feel comfortable, like being themselves and hanging out and relating life experiences. So thank you, Willard, for sharing. It takes a lot to actually show vulnerability and talk about stuff like that in a public setting. I still have trouble with it, and I'm a big mouth, and I talk till I'm blue in the face, interrupting everybody, and there's still things that I won't talk about on mic. So
yeah, but I mean, it's like if you're rolling around in a wheelchair and people were as mean to people that don't have visible symptoms, you would think they're a horrible person. But since people don't see it, it's a double, triple standard, and it's not fair. And but my theory is everyone's got something, but that they're dealing with. So I'm just kind to everyone. That's one of my things.
I got you. So you're telling me I'm really a dick that my catchphrase is "walk it off, princess."
It is, and I tried my best to walk it off in New York. So.
I'm sorry, Albie. If I made you feel like I was not seeing you.
It is what it is. I think that particular thing was a combination of my weight and age, maybe just overall health.
You're 10 years younger than me.
Well, then, so not age, I guess.
I hope not.
Probably. I had a lot more to lug down that street than you did. I have a lot more to lug up those stairs than you did. I just saw a thing about secret eaters. Did you ever watch that British show?
No.
Looks interesting because it's like me. I don't think I eat a lot, but people that eat more than they should, they usually just don't realize they're doing it or ignore it.
Oh no, I'm more that with alcohol.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll make the choice. I'll say, do I want this? Do I not want it? And I say, I don't even really want it, but I'm going to make it anyway. So. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's some vulnerability on my.
Thank you, Willard, and you are always welcome here. This is a safe space for anyone, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. So where are we at? We're talking about. Do we have to talk about the Miggly Moo part?
You got to admit, naming a race and a planet after a chicken's asshole. Vagina thing.
Yeah, I mean it's everything, right? A chicken's everything.
It's the one hole. They have one hole. They're very what would you say, efficient? That's an efficient opening. It does all the things.
I guess. I can't believe that I'm on a YouTube show where my host said the words chicken's asshole.
Well, that's the title of the episode, so But Cloaca, I like, and it was funny because Star Trek always has these funny, silly names for places. So the first time I watched the episode, totally went over my head. It's the blah 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 or whatever. So then I'm watching the second and third time, and I'm like, ah.
Is this the first time they mentioned the name of his race on the show? It's the first time I noticed it.
First time I noticed.
Yeah. I noticed it right away, and it's one of the few things about that B plot that made me laugh.
Mhm.
And I guess the problem that I have with that is that I never really liked Miggly Moo as a character. Like Miggly Moo and Dr. T'Ana, they're just a little bit too much like anthropomorphized, like cartoony animal. I don't see them fitting well into live action Trek.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like, because look at Arix. Arix, could you get Arix into a live action thing and make it look realistic? I guess you could now with CG.
Yeah, with
I guess
CG,
you,
they could get him in there with CG.
but I feel like Arix you could do like as a 1-to-1, whereas the Doctor looks too much like a bedraggled comic strip cat instead of like who was it, Maress in the animated series?
Was that her
I
name?
think
I remember her, but I don't remember
so.
her name. Yeah, her. She was hot. Speaking of cartoon cats, that's hot.
And didn't they bring the Cadians to life in Star Trek V, right? Wasn't there like a Cadian stripper on the stage?
On the pool table, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that was kind of a 1-to-1. It looked okay. I think I saw Arix as a 1-to-1 on one of the last episodes of Star Trek Continues. Was it Vic Mignogna's show?
One of those two, or
yeah, it was either that or Phase 2. Yeah, where they put him in. They put him in a CGI version of him.
Captain Game Show says, no, I think they've said it before. And he also said, holes be multitasking.
We know who Captain Game Show is.
Don't they usually, though? I mean, if you're going to have an opening in your body, you might as well use it for more than one thing, right? I'm just saying. That's where the saying comes from. If you have an opening in your body, you might as well use it for more than one thing. It's an old adage.
That old chestnut.
Yep. Captain Game Show is watching us. John, how you doing, buddy?
That's the beautiful John Irons, everybody.
Beautiful John Irons. Thank you for watching.
In case you didn't realize, a new episode of Captain Game Show just dropped in the last couple of days, and I listened to it last night, not least of all because I'm on it. So you guys, if you want to hear me in another milieu, go and find Captain Game Show on your podcatchers. And he's even got a website now. I think it's captaingameshow.com. John, correct me if I'm wrong. But you can find every episode there, or soon we'll be able to find every episode there, including the latest episode that I was just on. So
we almost have a website. We're working on it.
We're working on it. But I don't know. Have we missed it? Have we missed it? Have we missed out on? I'm sorry, I got distracted reading another one of John's comments. It's going to take some getting used to.
It is.
The comments, talking to you, keeping a train of thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to chew.
I'm going to have to try to learn to ignore it for a little while and then go to it and then come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we're particularly missing anything without a,
I think the website would just pretty much tell people where to go, and then it'd be embedded YouTube videos. So same difference as Patreon, kind of.
So anyway, I'm so dyed-in-the-wool old-time podcaster that you needed a website to have a domain so that you could post stuff to it, so that people could then get the RSS feed. Yeah. So, I mean, we had crtv.com for
you are a little old school. That's why we're listed in the yellow pages.
Yeah.
Like your fingers do the walking.
The yellow pages, they do wonders to line the bottom of Miggly Moo's cage as well.
They do. I wonder if he has a cage in his room. Did we ever see that? I like him because I forget the actor's name who plays him. Is it on there?
It's on the rundown. Just scroll all the way down.
Okay, yeah, there was a lot today. Paul F. Tompkins. He is Donnie Newsom. So she does an official Star Trek podcast, and he's her co-host. And he wears like it's weird, like retro, interesting nerd aesthetic, like bow ties with like something turn of the century scientist kind of. It's interesting, and he just seems like a cool guy. But again, he's got a mustache. So I'm looking at his clothes, not his face.
Right. So and Rolfer Duraco said that you probably had a problem with Boimler in this episode. You just saw every scene he was in without actually seeing it.
It looked like a caterpillar. It looked like one of those worms. Was that Gok? That wasn't Gok, right? That was worms for making blood wine.
Yeah, I thought at first it was Gok, but why would you waste all that Gok that you could eat by smashing it into blood wine? right?
Yeah,
So I'm thinking, I guess those are like some kind of mealy blood wine
they, yeah,
worms.
they look like some kind of worms. I always assumed. Now I didn't know, but I always assumed that blood wine was made out of like targ blood or something.
Me too. I thought it was just like if you're gonna butcher a targ, save the blood and
Make
make a
wine.
wine out of it, and that makes sense if you're in like some Klingon desert, some hostile environment.
Hmm.
And I feel like because Klingons are warriors and I guess hunters
Hmm.
in a harsh environment, anything that they capture, they're going to use every bit of it that they can. And then they got the blood. So I would think that blood wine can be any blood, indiscriminate.
Yeah, maybe.
But I guess maybe they have this. Maybe this is eco-friendly blood wine, where you
Worm
don't have to
gut
go out and ravage
blood.
decimated populations of wild animals. You can actually grow it, homegrown.
I think they were using all parts of the worms because I think the targs were later eating like the squeezed out worms. I'm not sure.
There you go. See, it's very sustainable
And eco-friendly. Yeah, it was just interesting to see a farm. Like we were totally expecting like Boimler's farm again. I think that's because I heard it somewhere maybe, so they were wrong.
I think I told you this on the way home. I thought it was going to be Boimler's grape farm
Yeah,
or raisin farm.
Raisin farm. Guess
Yeah,
not.
but no, it was an interesting name. It was kind of a misdirection to me, and you'd never think that was going to be a Klingon episode, right?
No, no, not at all. I wish I had read A Fair World of Arms. I got a like short synopsis of it, so I kind of comprehended. Had nothing to do with it apparently. So
No, I know it's Hemingway, and I have not
World
read
War
it.
One, and he was
Yeah.
a ambulance driver or something, and it's based on that.
Yeah, he was a reporter for a long time, doing stuff like that, and maybe he was doing the ambulance driver thing for like live the life that you want to write about.
Yeah,
Immerse
I might read
yourself.
it one day. I don't know. If you haven't read it, see that surprised me when I asked.
You know what? I'm not huge into Hemingway. I like Steinbeck better. So if there's a choice and there's a Steinbeck I haven't read, as opposed to A Farewell to Arms or whatever other Hemingway book, I can't even name one now. I don't believe I've ever read a book by
Old Man in the Sea, is that
Hemingway.
one?
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of people read that in school. I know I read Hills Like White Elephants, of course, is the one that you have to read in school all the time. It's a short story. It's about abortion, everybody, just so you know. So
a book to read, maybe. All I know about him is I went to his house in Key West, and by the time I got there, I was drunk because they have this like lady in the short shorts selling you slushies with like vodka or all kinds of alcohol in it.
So you would have been right at home with Hemingway.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Probably. Yeah. I think it was margarita last time. It was so good.
Oh, I got to do that next time I'm in Florida.
Yeah. Call me up. I know places. I know people. But yeah.
Well, I the implication was that we would do it.
Oh, I like that. I like that. But the lady that serves the slushies with the alcohol, she's like, "You want an extra shot?" You're like, "Sure," because she's pretty. So you want to go back, and you keep going back, and you're like, I get it. Because like I thought it was like a neat idea that there was a pretty girl selling me alcohol, but I guess they do that a lot around the world.
Gotcha. And Rolfo Chiraco asks, so I shouldn't read that book to my kids then? He's talking about Hills Like White Elephants. It's a short story, so it's only a couple pages. Short story. And unless you know they're talking about the woman possibly getting an abortion, you don't really know that that's what they're talking about.
Okay.
So your kids could read it and be like, huh? What?
That's the theory I have with Serenity, like stuff that's if you don't know, you don't know. Then if she doesn't know, she doesn't know. And if she knows, then she knows. So
I guess that's Hemingway's way to get around like the social mores of the time, kind of
it
like
was a long time ago. Yeah.
Kind of like science fiction did it with just, oh, look at these aliens. Oh, no, we're not talking about homosexuality or Nazis or whatever. We're
racial
talking
issues of the 1960s.
We're talking about lizard people.
Yeah. Lizard people.
Unless you know.
You don't know, but you might know. All right. So let's talk about the main storyline. Oh, the only other thing I'll mention about the Miggly Moo thing was I was disappointed that Rutherford didn't have more to do. It was like they picked the people remaining, like three people, Tindy, Rutherford, and the captain. And I think the story for them was too thin to spread about between all of them. They should have just maybe focused on one or two.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, but that's to me, that's if you we're going to just maybe talk about the Miggly Moo and put it to bed a little bit. I mean,
Let's talk about the Miggly Moo in the room.
Yeah, it's never been the best character for me. So for them to focus an entire episode or half an episode just on Miggly Moo, I guess what's he get? One a season or one every few seasons? I guess it was his turn, but I don't care about the character. I think it's a stupid character. I'm just gonna put it out. The character sucks. So it's like, why do I got to spend an entire episode? Okay, it's already a race that I'm not crazy about and a character that I don't like, and now I have to watch unpleasant members of that race. Like
it
being
gave
douchey.
me it gave me someone to watch over me vibes. Who's the guy from that was in that episode of Voyager? That was
I don't know.
That was from Kids in the Hall. But anyway,
I think he was on news radio after that.
Maybe, but it gave me a little bit of those vibes. But it made other episodes make more sense. I think one of the funniest Miggly Moo things, Dave Foley. Thank you, Roll for Tarako. Appreciate that, Dave Foley.
Sure, it was Dave Foley, not the other one.
It might have been the other one, Scott Thompson.
Scott Thompson, and then the other one with the curly black hair.
Don't know. Help us out. But there was one scene, one episode where he kept using food references, right? And it was just funny. Like, and I think at the end he said, like, "Don't be a pineapple," or something. And like, they made no sense to us because that was his culture, not our culture. But now, in retrospect, knowing that his whole culture is about finding food and tastes, makes more sense.
And that's the thing, me, I'm a big foodie. I love cooking. I love exploring food. I love just doing new stuff. So it should have been like maybe funny or cool that I guess their whole reason for exploring space was to find new tastes, to find new culinary frontiers.
I mean, we fought wars and traveled the world to find spices, right? So
yeah, I mean, but nutmeg is worth it. Tastes so good in my eggnog latte.
The thing that I got to laugh out of was they had their own cutlery, and one of them was like a bird's beak where it would chew it up for them before they ate it. Yeah. So, and it reminded me as a kid, I think it was like a Fruit Loop spoon or something that was more like a pair of tongs, but like for eating cereal. I had something like that, so it reminded me. Kevin McDonald, that sounds more like it, but no, I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin Roll. McDonald. Yeah, both John and Roll
for Tarako.
So they think it is Kevin McDonald.
All right, yeah, that's a great episode. I've seen that probably around 50 times because that's one I go to sleep to a lot.
I haven't seen it yet. I look forward to seeing it.
Robert Duncan McNeil's, I think, directorial debut, I believe. It's really good. Yeah. And the guy from Kids in the Hall gets drunk on Synthahol and hits on 7. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But that was the B plot, I think. But the A plot, it was cool to see Mariner have a continuing storyline with the different Klingons that she's met before. And I didn't recognize them, I guess, because of the animation. And, I'm not the best with names, especially like seasons ago. But once I found out who it was, it made more sense to me. But it was cool that because she got Klingon friends, she got Ferengi friends, she got all these different friends. So what did you think of this whole part? Because I know you're not a big fan of Mariner.
Well, I like seeing different aspects of a culture that we've only seen so far as a monoculture. And I'm going to go right on board there with you saying I didn't remember us having seen this character until there were some references. And I figured, well, it's got to be the one from the planet. Mm-hmm. And then I verified that online. And that gave it a little bit more depth for me. But what stuck out to me about this part most was that it was like Klingon overload. So if you love everything Klingon, it was the lower decks equivalent of, Fangasm, because they had so many deep cuts. And I was sitting there, it's like, what, a 27-minute episode maybe? Mm-hmm. And I'm taking notes and I'm pausing every few seconds to see what they said. What are they referencing? And then I realized I am not going to get 1/3 of all of these Klingon references. I mean, this is really deep cut stuff. Like if you speak Klingon, this must have been hilarious on levels that I can't even comprehend. So it was just like, all right, let me just let that wash over me. Now I'm immersed in the Klingon society and I'm seeing different aspects of it instead of trying to parse, what are they talking about here? And what are they talking about there? And what are they talking about there? And taking it like that, like you said, a lot of the stuff on Next Gen and DS9, the Klingon stuff is so very samey. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was one of the more interesting Klingon outings that we've gotten to see. How about you?
It was very interesting and surprising, because at first I didn't want to watch more Klingon stuff, but I liked how they turned a lot of things on their head and then showed from a different perspective of the culture. Not as much as I wanted. But I also think it's great if you're tired of the Klingon stuff and you're like, oh no, not another Klingon episode, because it also pokes fun at all the Klingon tropes. So you can sit there and enjoy it and be like, yeah, that's why I don't like those episodes as much, you know?
Yeah, it's funny how I think they put Brad in the position of really the Klingon fanboy in this. So he was the surrogate for everybody in the audience that was just like, finally,
Yeah.
you know.
I guess this Beard Boimler's like Bold Boimler, right? He's just going for stuff. He's like volunteering for being sacrificed, riding a huge targ.
Yeah, I wonder. It makes me think, you know, if he's taking a cue from he's getting to be so reckless, and not even, but like in a good way, just braver and just it's almost like he knows he's not going to die. It's like he's got like the Pike thing going on.
Ooh,
yeah,
maybe.
But I know that it can't happen that way. But maybe it's the thing. Maybe he's reading that magazine that he stole from his double and conflating this guy's achievement. So he's saying, well, he did it, so therefore I'm more likely to do it than not. So therefore maybe I'm not in as much danger because I still have to achieve all this stuff. I don't know.
Is it possible that the other timeline was slightly ahead, so it's also kind of like showing the future, so he knows? Like,
what were they slightly ahead?
No, I'm just guessing. I'm trying to think what's the payoff to all this.
Yeah, maybe it has a whole different date. Like maybe there's their date like 4 years in the future. I mean, there's precedence for that in the Mirror Darkly episode of Enterprise, right?
Mm-hmm. That sounds familiar.
The Defiant went back to Enterprise times when it went through the rift in space in the Tholian web. And that's how Hoshi becomes Empress, which, God, it still would have been so much better if it was Hoshi as the Empress of the Mirror Universe instead of Philippa Giorgio. Anyway, the Frasier episode where he reads a speech in Klingon is hilarious. Yeah, his son's bar mitzvah.
That sounds familiar. Was that Frasier or was that? I think that was Young Sheldon.
No, that was Frasier. That was Frasier. Okay. Yeah. Somebody tricked him into.
I must have watched Klingon. It must have been a clip that came up that I watched or something.
Yeah, more than likely. And Tarako says a Klingon fanboy should be called a Klingboy.
I like that Boimler was getting beat up and thrown against the wall. When he got thrown into the wall, I just laughed out loud. When he got the chair or table crushed over him, and he's like, "Does that mean they like me?
They respect me, right?"
Yeah, the humor is just great in this episode, I think. It was interesting because like when they're in the bar and he doesn't really want to be captain. What was the captain's name?
Mach. M-A''AH. Mach.
And he's like going through this life crisis, and his brother Malor was just giving him crap the whole time, like a sibling would. Like, it didn't matter what he was going through. He's just like making fun of him to the Klingon lady with the boob window.
Yeah, that Klingon lady was Mary Sheffro.
Yeah, Klingon from Disco, right?
Yeah, she was the chancellor. She was like the high, like Gowron. She was
the holder of the great Klingon nipple.
The mother of warriors. Yes.
She was good. I always like her in interviews. I really like her personality and who she is. So that was cool they got her on there. I didn't recognize her voice.
Do we call this episode a chicken's asshole or the great Klingon nipple? Which one?
The great Klingon nipple. I think we have to wait for that episode to maybe we call this something about cloaca. Roll for Tarako says Kevin McDonald was a chicken lady too. That was funny. I'm a chicken lady. Did chicken lady and cabbage for a head ever interact in the same scene? I don't remember.
I don't even remember those bits from Kids.
You don't remember I'm a chicken lady?
No, I watched it very briefly in the 90s when I was in college.
Okay. Cabbage for a head?
I remember I'm going to crush your head.
I'm going to crush your head.
Crush your head.
Okay. But the River of Pain sticks or whatever, that was interesting. It was cool to have Boimler figure out like how to get past it, but it was just a whole about like setting things up that you would see in a normal Klingon episode and then going about it in a different way with humor, and I enjoyed it. But I don't know how more to talk about it.
Now, well, first of all, was that a callback to Worf's thing?
Yeah,
in DS9, was it the Rite of Ascension?
Yeah, like his
Day of Ascension
bar mitzvah thing,
or whatever.
because he wasn't a warrior yet, or something, because he didn't go through that.
What I liked about that collaborative thing was, and Boimler's embracing everything. Again, it reminded me a bit of Dax. They both had touches of Dax here, both Mariner and Boimler.
Yeah.
And I think that it shows that, you know, the Federation and the Klingon societies can still complement each other, even though they're so vastly different. If they just listen to one another, like Boimler can come in and be on their turf, but still be who he is, and have something to contribute to make it so that, hey, look, it just because he's different doesn't mean that he doesn't have a good point of view. I think a lot of the subtext of this episode was talking about just mindless authority, and it speaks to the times we're in now in a very oblique way, much like science fiction always has. It's not so oblique after the events of this week, but it's, I think, supposed to go deeper on that level, showing you someone who's just like an automaton sort of autocrat who is only out for one thing, which is some kind of petty revenge on someone who he feels has wronged him, and how people banding together from seemingly different walks of life can find a point of view to get past that kind of stuff. So, and literally, I mean, they're showing it, them running a gauntlet, getting poked with paint sticks. So it's a great way to sort of take something we've all seen on Star Trek before and then repackage it to make a commentary about current events now. That's how I saw it. Maybe I read a little too deeply into it. Maybe I've just been profoundly affected by the events of the previous week.
It's been a rough week. But I did have that thought while watching this episode as well. And I was trying to think the mechanics, because like a year ago, maybe, is when they, you know, wrote this and drew it and stuff. But like the timing was ridiculous, because I watched it the night, you know, after midnight it came out, which was, what was it, Wednesday night? And that day I was pretty much numb all day. But I was like, wow, this is very on point. But, you know, Star Trek, you know, that's what they do.
Well, in a way, I mean, a lot of the messages that they talk about there are timeless, in the sense that it will always be relevant to speak up against autocracy, to speak up against fascism and just blind power, grasping for its own ends. And again, it's probably just serendipitous that it happened.
The most serendipitous coincidence.
It did.
Yeah. Because, man, if not, then he must have been a writer on The Simpsons or something.
Yeah. Well, or you got to think that they know what their production schedule is. Maybe they know what their release schedule is. So maybe they say that no matter what happens, 2 days before this thing drops, it will be a message that's probably relevant. And
it would have fit in either way, you know, because, you know, in the end, the other two outsmarted him. So,
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, they used the rule of law to hoist him on his own petard, as they say in Shakespeare, hoisted by his own petard.
Yes, explain that to me. I didn't get that.
Well, according to, I believe petard is like a sort of explosive device.
Okay.
So it's basically like something that you did that was supposed to hurt somebody else, kind of you're hoisted. So it like blew up underneath you, like thrown by your own petard. So that's hoisted by your own petard. So basically it blew up in, it bit you in the ass, right? So it's just like, well, this guy's going by all of his quote regulations about how he can't be captain anymore. And then Boimler comes up with, well, there's a ritual that says, hey, there is a way around your authority. And then even when he tries to cheat them out of it, they find another way to ensnare him and say, no, the law says this. Now we're just going by what you told us. And that was to avoid having to kill one of them. I love the fact. What do you think about this? They didn't shy away from the kill at the end.
It reminded me of Next Gen, and where I don't know if you've seen the whole storyline with Worf and Duras and Kalar and all that stuff.
I did,
but you got to do what you got to do, and it was one of those things where he was stabbed first. Luckily, Klingon organs are redundant, so he's probably going to be okay because he just has some bandages wrapped around him after getting impaled. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was like Picard getting impaled by that Nausicaa.
Yeah, that would have been funny if he just looked up and laughed. But so it's self-defense, yes, I think. And once their Klingons once you get a Batleth 3 or something, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I like the fact that they didn't shy away from the hyper violence. And I love the callback to Undiscovered Country, where all the blood is Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, it was always purple. Yeah, you gotta love it
to avoid the R rating.
Yep. Hey, it works. It works. You know? That's why my hair is blood colored. You know.
There we go. So
yeah, if they did it another way, it would have been like a cop out. So I think it's important, and it kind of landed.
Yeah, it landed right square in the middle of that guy's heart.
It's one of those things, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right?
Especially if you're a Klingon and you're a warrior. And that's the other thing. I think that they were going so against the grain of the normal Klingon stuff by avoiding the battle and the honor and the warrior stuff, that I guess maybe they needed to have that in the end just to sate the fans that are there to see that stuff. Yeah.
And also the hidden message is, you know, the moral of the story, I guess, too, is basically what I just said, die by the sword. So, or one of those F around and find out things, you know.
Okay. I don't know what that means. F around and find out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't start none, won't be none.
I'm not familiar with these things coming out of your face, sir.
I'm on Twitch. I'm trying to do you know, the new sayings, whatever these new sayings is. Like, I'm a hip cat, daddy-o.
That one I understand.
Hoisted by his own Picard, Willard says. Yes. There was one thing that was like a curse word that sounded like Picard, but it was like Hatard or something.
Yeah. I mean, maybe people can tell us in the comments, like some of these jokes where I'm sure we could look them up. So I'm sure there's videos, hour-long videos on the internet with all the jokes in this. But when they almost got into the accident in front of the bar and they're like, you have a Jatak or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was.
I think I wrote that down. I actually read the closed captioning. Boob window. No. Oh, experience Baj, B-I-J with some apostrophes in there.
Yeah.
So I think it was like F off. No, you F off. I don't know.
Somebody let us know what that means. Wait, I have a Klingon dictionary right behind me.
There you go. B-I-J with some apostrophes.
All right, where's my Klingon dictionary?
Roll for Tarako says 23 skidoo, daddy-os. Right on, daddy-o.
Whoa, and I just knocked over Kirk, Spock, and Aaliyah.
Oh, no.
All right. Bij.
B-I-J. And I didn't write down the apostrophes.
All right. Let's see what we can find.
Other people would consult the internet, but we have paper.
I have the OG here.
Yes.
This is the first edition Klingon dictionary.
Experience Bij. No, you experience Bij.
All right. B-I. I got the C's. P.
B-I-J.
I got BIQ, BIH, B, that's BL, BE, BL, no. Sorry, it doesn't look like it's here.
I'm looking.
Yeah. Maybe it's been added to the language since.
It might have. Definition of Bij, a Klingon word wiki. Okay. It's a noun that means punishment. Oh, you experience punishment.
Okay. That's not as funny.
Not as interesting.
Yeah. You thought it would be something like sexy.
Yeah, I thought it would.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, well. Right. Sorry we ruined that joke, everybody.
So did Kalar really, not Kalar, did Kayless really kill Feklar? I did not know this.
Oh, I didn't know it either. Funniest joke of the episode was a Kayless joke, but
oh yes, was it the one at the very end?
The one at the very, very end, like if you weren't listening, you would have missed it.
Yeah, I had to turn on closed caption to hear that because it's one of those things where they keep talking while they fade out. They do that.
Yeah. So
he's like, I'm dying. I can see Kayless, the first one, the one that did impressions.
Yeah. And you just think, yes, Savage Curtain, woo!
That was funny. Like deep cuts, and I appreciate those.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I'm like, there was a lot to like in the Klingon stuff. It even gave Mariner a milieu where her being completely obnoxious helped quite a bit. So maybe we found her people. Maybe we found the setting where she does actually belong. They should do like one of those ship swap episodes, like when Riker was on the what was the episode?
Heart of Glory?
Maybe, and then the other Klingon guy was on the Enterprise.
Yeah, where they switched it, and then the guy with the fog in his face.
Guy with the fog in his face?
Oh. Didn't he have the breathing thing? The one that was
that Wesley's bud. That was Wesley's buddy.
Coming of age. Yeah, same makeup, different. And same actor, but different characters, so they didn't have to pay Sandy, my friend Sandy Freeze.
Yeah, didn't they say that he, like from the same pod or something like that?
Yeah, that's how they got away with it, same pod, so that's why they looked the same, but it was the same actor, same makeup, different characters, so he didn't get his money.
Oh, well.
But I think there was some action later on, from what I understand, because he invented the race. So there you go.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sure, we'll talk more
I got to go back and listen to that with Sandy because, again, I always figured that if you wrote something for Star Trek owned it. You got paid what you got paid, and that's that.
It depends at the time. Different contracts. Now, forget about it. You write anything, it's not yours. But back then, that's why there's a lot of Doctor Who episodes that aren't available on streaming. Because back then the writers retained the rights to their characters, so they got to renegotiate with them every so often to still use them.
That's why they have to have a Dalek episode every season, otherwise they lose the rights to the Daleks.
Something like that, like Sony and Spider-Man kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let's see, what else do I got in my notes? I enjoyed the vacuum the carpet joke.
Oh, that was more of the Miggly stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but I have it written down. I got to read my notes. But I think that was referring to like that meme where it says like join Starfleet. They said it'll be an adventure. They said or something, and it's just a guy vacuuming the Enterprise D bridge. I think that's what that was referring to. So I enjoyed that.
I think that some of the more modern Trek could use carpeting. So all the ships they're too hard and shiny.
Yeah, I like carpeting. Let's see. That's more of the Miggly stuff. Oh, Yi. That was probably my favorite part of the episode where Boimler jumped on the Targ and there's just like that pause and he's like, Yi.
Okay.
it was just funny to me.
It was cute.
Something is definitely going on with Boimler, and I'm not sure what it is. What do you think it is?
Well, like I said, I think maybe he thinks he has foreknowledge of things that he's going to accomplish, so he feels like he can be more bold.
Oh, wait, hold on.
There it is. Yep.
Foreknowledge.
Yeah. So
one of my favorite books ever written.
But I just feel like it's the final season. They're going to have to do something to bring the character forward. So why not make him recklessly brave all of a sudden? Like just give up the whole shtick of Boimler going like I think even like his character poster is like he's like so nervous he's got to pull his collar up. You know, like. The screaming incompetence, the screaming, not, I guess, lack of confidence.
Yeah.
More than incompetence. He's very competent. He just lacks confidence. But it's like, let's get past that. I
think he's just in a mode to where he sees what he could be if he didn't get in his own way.
Right. So are you enjoying that as a character beat, or do you like Boimler's Boimler?
No, I'm liking it because it's realistic and it's I'm sure part of the overall story arc because we were told that the pad was over the overall season arc and him growing a beard is overall season arc, and I guess this is part of it. So, and of course the big one is all the interesting holes What did you think of the interesting holes? More holes.
I thought that was a neat twist, a nice way to wrap the episode into the bigger story. I wasn't expecting that. And the fact that they needed a Klingon escort to go to, that's why she was so, it gave them a reason to be there other than to just knock on the door and be a convenient part of the story. Because it hadn't even occurred to me up until that point what she was contacting about, why they were there, why they were looking for him. I just thought that maybe they had some short leave and she was like, oh, let's go visit this guy and, be Pains or something like that. We get, because Mariner got a Mariner.
Yeah.
But, no, they actually tied it into the overall arc of the season and made it into an important mission, because what do we learn? That the holes are somehow artificial, or
that's
or
what
at
we
least
learned
not
this time.
naturally occurring.
Not naturally occurring. So, and it's kind of like a copy paste of the, was it last season where they had Nick Locarno? Like every episode they had something happen that built up to that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of how I feel like that's like 90s and 2000s TV. It's funny, we're watching Supernatural rewatch, first time watch for my wife, and I've said before, I think like seasons 3 to 5 of the original run of Supernatural were almost perfect television, and that's what they did. They had mythology episodes, of course, like X-Files would, but even when they just have one-offs or Monster of the Week or funny episodes, they'll find some way to at least sneak in some of the overarching storylines of that season, if not the entire 5-season run that it was supposed to be. It was supposed to end at season 5. So they really did weave it together very nicely. It's nice to see that again in modern television, because even though you have these giant 10-episode sagas, it doesn't seem like they do a very good job of telling diverse stories and weaving a whole. So they're just,
So you're enjoying that?
I am enjoying it. Yeah.
Good.
I'm going to go on a diatribe here about the way TV is written today, but we don't need to. Just listen to the first.
I love your diatribes.
Listen to the first.
I got to look up diatribe later, but I love them.
Listen to the first season of QL 2022 on the Quantum Leap podcast.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
To talk about how we, the mystery box and just chasing
you
our
weren't a fan of mystery
and,
box, but you're a fan of the art, not naturally occurring holes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I like mysteries. I don't like every episode to be about not solving that one central mystery that everybody's chasing for the season.
I got you. There is a difference.
There is a difference, because, you don't know why the angels are tapping Dean. You don't know what Sam's deal is, why they put the demon blood in him, but it will become apparent before the end of season 5. And it's just like, you don't have to know, because it's so compelling to watch it unfold in the midst of all the other world building that's going on, and the character stuff and all the beautiful, just the wonderful storylines. And we need TV to be like that again. Anyway, I do. It can't just be about chasing your own tail for 10 episodes until the final episode reveal. Yeah, I'm sorry. I get diatribe. So,
it just means you're passionate.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's past midnight, I think, on some time zone.
Yeah, it's 12:43 here in New York. So,
boob windows. That's what I say. But windows. I like the joke about. Did she say you're an interesting hole or something? I don't know. It was funny.
I don't recall. Someone, Don is telling me to preach.
He's liking it.
So yeah, he agrees about Supernatural. I just found a Supernatural fan. He's like, "Oh, you're so right. Totally agree." So
me and Rennie are talking about Supernatural because everybody I know has seen it and loves it.
It is a pretty Rennie is she's cut from a different cloth. Like, yeah, she'll be able to handle it.
She's more advanced than a lot of us.
Yeah, and I'll say this: if you just want to finish the Supernatural chat for now, seasons 1 through 5 are fantastic. Seasons 6 through 10 are varying quality with a lot of dog shit, again live, in the middle, and then seasons 11 through 15 really stick the landing.
Okay, so it's worth going through. It's just that's a hurdle or a slow point.
Yeah, there's a slow 5 seasons, but it's like it's like the Dire Straits song "Telegraph Road." The first 5 minutes are great. Then you have the middle 5 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes really take. And it's just like, wait, we're talking about one song, and it's 20 minutes long. You know, so you got to think there are going to be highs and lows and everything that have long form like that. Especially if it got to be long form where it didn't intend to be long form. Maybe it's a bad analogy. Probably
so it's on the
bad
list.
Analogy.
I think the next one we're doing is either Buffy or Battlestar. I'm not sure.
I still have to do B5.
Oh yeah. Oh, Brent came up with an idea. One of our listeners, followers, my Canadian friend, because he's the Babylon 5 guy, and he's loving your analysis of stuff. And he was thinking it'd be great to do an episode with just Babylon 5, maybe the pilot or something, the three of us.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm open to that. I was actually speaking to my friend and sometimes podcast partner, Neek, who is on the Cosmic Potato Alliance shows. She was actually on that episode of Captain Game Show with me. And she hasn't seen it yet either. And we had expressed interest with one another to maybe do a show about watching Babylon 5 for the first time. With two newbies and one experience. It's kind of like this thing called the Quantum Leap podcast way back when you had a super fan paired with a person who had never seen these series.
That was a
before.
good idea, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who came up with that, but that guy was a genius.
Genius.
Yes. So
and handsome too, as I remember. And now he lives in a space station all by himself.
But he's a great dad.
Aw. So. I hear that a lot. So yeah, he must be. I don't know. Boob window.
Boob window. Okay. Loving the boob window reference. Yes.
So before we do like final ratings and stuff like that in trivia, I just want to let people know if you're going to call in, if you have our link to call in, now would be a good time to call us in. Talk to us for about 5 minutes.
Tell us what you think about boob windows.
Yeah. What do we do next in this lineup here, Chris?
I don't know. I have to call my run. I've been taking the rundown off screen so that I'm actually looking in the right place instead of always looking at a piece of paper.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I got to go back and get it. You'd think that we would know the
no, this is only episode like 33, I think.
Oh, what's your episode crush, Albie Verge?
Let me see. I'm looking for the character's name. Boob window lady. What's her name?
Oh, it was Mary Sheffro's character. So that would have been
K Alara. Alara? K Laura. I think they said it like K Laura. But it's spelled K Alara or something. Yeah, her. Wow.
Yeah, Kalara.
She was gorgeous in this episode. Oh, and she played a Klingon. Now I get it. Yeah, that was my episode crush. Couldn't take my eyes off of her.
It's just too good to be true.
Can't take my eyes off of you. We saw Jersey Boys live.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, did you ever see that?
No, I didn't. But we still have a running joke in this house.
Did I ever tell you about...
she died on the bus home from Jersey Boys. Name the show.
Did I ever? I don't know. I don't know. What was it?
The character's Paulie Walnuts.
Didn't watch it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Sopranos.
Oh, never watched it. I know how it ends though. Did I ever tell you my connection to the Jersey Boys?
I mean, you being a Jersey Boy is one that I would.
No, actually, the actual Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
You have all of this time, and I thought I knew you.
So here's one of our intentional tangents. My mom, right? Her first husband was in the Frankie Valli's band before Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, right?
Okay.
But so my mother's first husband was friends with Frankie Valli, and before they got famous or whatever like that, because her first husband left the band to do his own thing, which was country music at the time. So whoops, right? But so Frankie Valli calls up my mom one night and asks her out on a date and tells her how beautiful she is and says she wants to go out with her, and she knows she's going out with insert first husband's name there and stuff like that. But my mother, was married to this guy. And so she said no. And it was just him, her husband at the time, setting the whole thing up to see if she would cheat on her with Frankie Valli. And Frankie Valley wasn't nobody except Frankie from down the block at the time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she said no. But I hear different stories from my mom all the time, and it's like she's in her 80s, and I don't find stuff about her until like recently. But yeah, she told us because we went to see Jersey Boys live. Oh, we have a call.
Oh, we do.
Would you like us to go to a call? This is a good time.
I'd love to go to a call. I can't believe that what you in the vast like wasteland of the internet where everybody has a show that now we've had 3 live streams and we've had calls on 2 of the 3 or whatever.
Something like that.
It's amazing to me that people are even watching us live. Like, why would you do that? It's just me.
Well, we appreciate it. That's for sure. Let's take this call and let me remind the caller that we are live, and don't be like Chris.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I get Don. There we go. 2 thumbs. Don.
Hey, Don. Don, how you doing? Welcome to Treksploration. Are you a Treksplorer?
I'm yeah, I guess so. I didn't know how to answer that. I was just actually calling in to say, like, you guys are great. You're fun to watch. You have great discourse. And I hadn't much to add to the whole analysis of the episode. You guys pretty much covered it.
Well, I mean, what do you think of Lower Decks in general, and how are you liking this season?
I'll be honest. This is the first episode of the season I watched just to catch up with this stream. I just realized that I'm 2 seasons behind, so I'm about to catch up now.
Ooh, fun.
But, yeah.
Did you drop off for a specific reason?
I didn't know they had dropped more seasons. I caught up and wasn't keeping up with it. I just found out that there's like 2 whole new seasons. Last season I watched, I think it was 3.
Where are you calling from, Don?
Florida.
Woo, Florida man.
Florida man on our feed.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. So how long have you been a Trek fan, and where is your Trek sweet spot?
Oh, forever. I remember growing up in the 80s and 90s watching Star Trek Next Generation. That's my sweet spot right there. Picard is the only captain. Yeah. Sorry, fight me.
Well, he's a captain.
Well, that might be one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons I enjoy Lower Decks so much, because it's right there in that time and space.
I like the Lower Decks because it takes a more jovial look at what is kind of a super serious, and I don't know, like Star Trek always seemed to be like heavy about its morals and very serious and strict and dutiful, whereas the Lower Decks is like basically just like they make fun of it.
Yeah,
and that's fun to do. It's fun to see a different side. Having been a service member, a lower enlisted man, I know the kind of shit show. Sorry, not supposed to be like Chris.
I think that word's okay.
I know what it can be like. I know it can be like in the Lower Decks, and it's kind of fun to see that actually portrayed, because it's not all like crisp uniforms and strict officer etiquette and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's funny. Now you reminded me of a story. We're going to go on tangents anyway.
Yeah,
I have never served. I've never been part of a military organization. However, I was fortunate enough as a part of my work when I worked in TV to go onto an aircraft carrier. It was the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Wow. And we were flown on and then flown off, like taking off from the carrier, being catapulted. It was amazing. But anyway, part of that was we got to meet every level of person on the ship. So we started with like the captain, and we got like the tour of like the bridge area and like their quarters and how they ate and everything. And then we're working our way down until we got to that Lower Decks, which was closer to kind of where we were staying. We had like these guest quarters, but I got a glimpse, because this is going to be, I got to be Chris. I'm walking down the corridor on this aircraft carrier, and two women come by. And one was the most beautiful redhead I had ever seen in my life. And they're just like picking up trash.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm looking and I'm watching them go. And then they opened a door into, I guess, what was like a barracks area or whatever. And I saw just like a mass of lower deckers in bunks, but it was like this communal area. It was kind of open, like they sleep in the hallways on the Cerritos.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, we came in and we got to see the officers, and then I guess the petty officers, and then the enlisted, and then the non-coms, or whatever. I know I'm messing up the ranks. I don't know what any of that is, but it's
you left out warrant officers, but you had it right.
Yeah, okay, all right. The only thing they wouldn't let us see is the engine room, but yeah, it's just amazing to me that maybe that Lower Decks harkens back to that experience I had. I never even realized it until this very second. So thank you, Don. And one of the chief criticisms I have of Next Gen is that it's just so self-serious as it goes on. So you think I would like Lower Decks a little bit more than I do, because it does, try to take some of the air out of that, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got to appreciate the time frame and the era that the Next Generation happened in. It was all like, there was a lot of like love and peace and all that stuff. Mr. Rogers was a big thing, Sesame Street, that kind of stuff. The Next Generation fed into that a lot. I think that's why later Star Treks were kind of more like grim dark, and like Deep Space Nine. I mean, it wasn't like super dark or anything like that, but it was definitely not Next Generation. They dealt with some,
heavy
darker
themes.
Ideas.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I loved it so much. So we can have knockdown drag-em-outs about DS9 versus Next Gen as far as I'm concerned. It'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun.
I liked them both, but I'll just always be a Next Gen fan, man.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, yeah. I'm glad. I guess you're enjoying, I hope our recaps of Next Gen as we go on with them.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Next Gen raised me, so that's where I'm at. That's what I call home.
Yeah. Albie said it. Yeah. That was part of the whole, it's going to be a brighter future we were raised in.
Yeah. But I still believe that. I still believe that.
But to get to where we're going in the 24th, we got to get through what we saw in First Contact. So it's all on track.
Anyway,
I'm here for it.
Yep.
I ain't going nowhere.
Well, thank you, Don. I call him Big D. And I appreciate you calling in, and call back anytime.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
All right.
You too, Don. Thanks so much for calling. Thanks for watching.
Thanks you.
Not a problem.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for you guys doing this.
Oh yeah,
it was fun. It was a good distraction.
Thanks for that's why I'm doing it. I'm in denial. All right, I think you have to hang up. I'm not sure. Can I hang up?
You hang up.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up. No. All right.
All right. Thanks. All right. That was awesome. We had an audio call.
Thank you, Don.
I forgot to do the thing I wanted to do is announce the town, because that's why I always wanted to be like a AM radio guy, because I was always a fan of Larry King as a kid. So I always wanted to go, Poughkeepsie, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, we know he's from Florida.
So Florida man, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe you'll bump into him at the Publix.
Yeah. Ooh, while we're getting subs.
While you're getting subs at Publix.
Have you had a Publix sub?
Oh yeah. I used to go to Marco Island all the time, and we used to
Marco Island. That's 10 minutes from me.
I think we've had this discussion. I didn't know you then.
You used to go all the time, and
it was like
now
30 years ago.
That you know me,
30 years ago.
Rennie, Laura, Penny on the beach. Think about it.
Oh yeah, no, that was Holly back then. Holly's days.
Holly. I remember Holly. But I mean, now Penny could be on the beach. Penny could be on the beach.
Holly was before. Holly was the first Bichon. She's the one that made us love Bichons.
Was that the one I met first? I think so, right?
No,
was there one between Holly and
was gone
Lily?
Long before.
So who did I meet when I met you?
You met Penny.
No, before that. we might have known each other that long.
Oh, probably Lil.
Yeah. Oh, Lil. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
We got messages from Willard.
Cole.
Willard says, Chris, a B5 podcast would be cool. If you need a previous viewer as a co-host, give me a call and we'll negotiate salary. Wait, no salary? Call me anyway. Yeah, people love Babylon 5, and I'm right there with them. Captain Game Show, the beautiful John Iron says, plus TNG was the first after the original. If they were too jokey or didn't take it seriously, the Trek fans would have ripped it apart. I agree. I think that's a big part of it.
Yes.
And also the tone was set by Gene. So it was going to be a original series 2.0, no matter what they did, I think. Later on, it did get kind of funny in parts and things,
Okay, I'm pausing now because Albie froze. There you go, Albie.
Am I here?
Now you're here. I was pausing because I didn't know if you were still going out live, but then I realized if you were still going out live. So people think we both froze because I didn't speak up when you froze.
Oh.
So
what was the last thing you heard?
You were talking about how the fans would have ripped it apart, and you were talking about it being tonally, and then
and I'll just repeat that part. And it was started off by Gene Roddenberry, so it was always going to be a original series 2.0. So it's going to have the same tone because both were started by Gene Roddenberry.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, let's see. Ooh, we got Air Cole. I don't know this one. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Says, not the biggest fan, but I saw the original series on TV in jail, and it was surprisingly good and deep with the themes and such.
Yeah, that's what TOS does, Yeah,
TOS is great. I mean, luckily I loved TOS before TNG came out. I'm just in that sweet spot. But I was like the youngest person I knew that watched a TV show from the 60s back then.
Yeah, I mean, it was ubiquitous when I was growing up, even though everybody said the Trekkies were, part of the fringe and sci-fi nerds, but it was on every night.
Fringe, that's a great show.
So, yeah, I'm not sure.
As Winn-Dixie. I don't know if they have subs at Winn-Dixie, though.
Because of Winn-Dixie.
It's the dog, yeah. Aww.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Thank you so much for the feedback, and welcome, Urcole.
Yes, thank you,
Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but welcome.
Yeah, right. And Don, I say right now, go to your phone and listen to Has Been. The song Has Been on the album Has Been by William Shatner.
The whole album's great.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album.
Rainey and I listen to it sometimes on our walks. We try to do a couple miles a day while she's here. So, cool. Play some music sometimes. Other times we just enjoy the quiet and being away from being online connected and stuff. Ooh, remind me when we're talking about Too Short a Season, what me and Rennie did this past weekend.
Okay, we'll do.
All right. So we did our call-ins. We did our episode crushes, right? Did you have a crush? What's your crush?
I mean, again, I refuse to do crushes on Lower Decks. So I think my favorite part of the episode was the callback to the original Kalash.
So you're telling me just because they're cartoons, you don't have crushes on them? Even the boob window?
I feel like we've established this.
Maybe our brains are different because, yes, it's only like a line
Albie.
like this.
Oh, Albie, you're just now realizing that. You have never said a true. Maybe our brains are different.
It's only a curved line, but in my brain, it's a set of boobs. So maybe we're just on different levels. You're way up here. I'm way down here. So maybe it's advantageous in the boob window department for me to be down here.
Okay, sure. You
do
right. You.
Favorite part of the episode was probably the opening for me.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
The whole not focused on the same old Klingon stories. It was different. And I liked seeing a Klingon be more three-dimensional. They weren't just a Klingon warrior, but he had real emotions, this captain guy. He knew that the thing he wanted to be and what everybody else wanted him to be, including Boob Window, was a captain, and he knew he didn't want to be a captain serving under an idiot. So he was so conflicted that he thought it's not worth living anymore, and I'll sacrifice myself. I really enjoyed the whole story, and seeing Klingons in a different light. It's very rare that you do.
Well, there you go. You found a very fantastically deep part of the episode that we hadn't parsed yet.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about it.
That's a great. Well, I mean, it's. At that point, I'm so. Oh, what can I say? Not burned out, but Maybe no. Let me tell you why. Because
no, I was laughing at the comments. Sorry.
Oh, what was the comment?
Oh, well, we got one from James. Welcome, James. It says it's an Ultimate Origins idea. Very cool. Okay. And then I laughed at Don. He said Al's brain is so different. You think?
A little bit.
Secretly, I'm amused that no one understands me. That's a song reference. Thank you so much.
So, but I guess just getting back to what I was saying, yes. It was poignant. It was a fantastic reveal. It was very well written. But at the time I'm watching it, by this time the episode's wrapping up, I'm thinking, okay, I got to write my synopsis. What are we gonna talk about on air? What are we gonna do this? So I have like 17 competing things. Maybe I should watch these more than once. But
I watched it 4 times.
Yeah, well. They come out on Wednesday night at Thursday morning at 3 a.m.
And you work sleeping. A lot. I don't know if anybody knows.
I get home by like 8 o'clock at night from work, and then I gotta eat dinner, walk the dog, then I watch it, and then we have to get on mic before it's a million o'clock. It's a million o'clock now.
Yeah, it's 17 o'clock right now, but I think that's because of the time change. I thought Mayor Pete was supposed to fix that, but he never did.
Well, we're actually in the real time now.
Are we?
The daylight savings time has ended.
But it gets dark at like 5 p.m. I don't get it. Like I wake up and 2 hours later, it's dark.
Well, maybe you should wake up earlier.
I've been told that before.
That's a thought.
It is a thought. I like it.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that you pointed that out because it does show you also that, okay, even though we've seen Klingons as a monoculture and Mach could be maybe the epitome of that monoculture with the honor and the captaincy and the legacy and all of the violence and everything, he has decided that it's not for him, or even if it is for him, it's not for him under certain circumstances. So he's willing to turn away from it. And then even when he gets it back, he decides maybe this form thing isn't so bad after all. You can actually maybe be with your family and still cling on to those ideas. See what I did there? Cling on to those original ideas, because he said,
that's the title.
This is how Martok started. This is the kind of ship he had. And who doesn't love Martok?
From what I saw online, this was like a retelling of the story of Martok, actually. And I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, I mean, they mention him and they mention his province. And I know some of the Martok stuff from reading the DS9 books. Anyway, we've talked about that. But
what's the update on the book reading of the...
Of Imzadi? I said it's going to be the next one I do. I just haven't had a chance to read for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, but it's next on my list. I might even stop the one I'm reading now and just read Imzadi. But you got to let me know when you want to do a show, and then I'll get serious about it when it's time to get serious about it.
We'll be talking about Imzadi.
Yeah.
That'll be my 3rd or 4th time reading it. I'm not sure. I know I did it once on audio cassette, which was pretty good, but it was abridged, I think, because that's what they did back then.
So,
A Stitch in Time. That's the next one I want to read new that I haven't read yet. All right, what do we got? Trivia questions.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to ask me because I've been redesigning the space station. I got a new desk, I got new monitors, got a new computer, and everything. So I have no idea where my cards are. Cards are. James said that DS9 got too dark and gritty for him. It does at certain points, but I think one of the best statements in Deep Space Nine about that is. What did Cisco say? It's easy to be a saint in paradise.
Yeah, I guess.
Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens.
I mean, that's what I loved about DS9, quite frankly. That it did go dark, it did go gritty.
Mm-hmm. And all right, we got the beautiful John Iron says, I also liked he just took everyone's stuff without losing his cool, and I always love to see a Klingon that doesn't have a hair trigger. Yeah, he was very calm and rational and the antithesis of the stereotypical Klingon.
Very nice sentence, sir. That had at least 2 SAT words in it.
See, as it gets later and later at night, I'm more and more awake. By 4 a.m., watch me go.
I'm like yawning in the mic. You're like, it's the antithesis of the apotheosis. So.
This is a sweet spot where you're still kind of awake, but I'm starting to wake up. It's a different time zone. We're both on the East Coast.
Are you ready for 3 questions?
You got me for 3 questions.
All right. This one actually is going to fit into, I believe, the next season of Strange New Worlds. In the original series episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? What is Nurse Christine Chapel's relationship? In the original series episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? What is Nurse Christine Chapel's relationship to Dr. Roger Corby?
Ex-wife. Ex-boyfriend? Ex-girlfriend.
Sorry.
Ex-lover.
You lose.
Ex-key party host.
She is his fiance.
Fiance. I was so close.
Beyonce.
But so they never got married. Ex-fiance or fiance?
He wanted to.
Oh.
He wanted to get married.
But then he got robot guts.
He was a robot.
He was a robot. And I think in that time in the future, you couldn't marry a robot. Not until after Measure of a Man.
Right. And what a man. Anyway.
What a man, what a man, what a mighty good man, positronic brain and all.
In the motion picture Nemesis.
Okay.
This is our second Nemesis question in as many shows.
Okay.
Nemesis. Whoops.
Yep.
In the motion picture
We're live!
Nemesis, why does Shinzon pursue Captain Picard?
Well, let's see. He Shinzon of Remus pursues Captain Picard. That's Captain Picard's clone. He just wants to meet himself? I don't know. Am I wrong? How wrong am I?
You're kind of wrong. I wouldn't have gotten this either. Don says it's because he's a sexy beast, but
yeah.
I don't think that's it either.
Could be.
I think he's talking about Roger Corby, actually.
He's Bane. Oh, yeah, Roger Corby. Yeah.
Right. It says here that Shinzon, now this is, I mean, who the hell cares? He needs a transfusion from Picard to counteract his own flawed cloning process.
Okay, I think that sounds familiar, rings a bell. So it might have been in there somewhere, but I didn't remember it.
If they have like biomaterial from Picard to make a Shinzon, why don't they just use some of that biomaterial to grow some more blood for the cloning process?
It makes no sense, but I don't understand 24th century cloning as well as the next guy.
Anyway.
Okay, so I'd say one right, one wrong, probably.
No, that's two wrong.
Is it? Two wrong. Oh, see.
Two wrong out of three.
No, I don't
think you're going to get this one, but it's a fun.
Okay.
It's a fun episode and a fun question anyway.
Darn.
From what 1960s spy spoof does the Deep Space Nine episode Our Man Bashir derive its title?
Our Man Bashir, Our Man Shimmerman.
I'm going to give you, that's it. You got three now. You win.
Our Man. I knew it at one point in my life, but it's not in there anymore.
Honestly, think of the episode Requiem for Methuselah.
So, Our Man Methuselah?
No, that makes no sense. What was the name of the guy in that?
The Conscience of the King. No, that's a different one. Trelane. No, I don't know. Oh man.
The one that made Raina, another robot.
A robot?
He wasn't a robot. Raina was the robot.
Ooh, I knew a Trek question. Okay, how about we let John Irons answer this one?
He needed his DNA. No, he's talking about the Shinzon thing.
Oh.
He needed the DNA. And John did right. John got it right.
Our Man Flint.
Woo! It was Our Man Flint.
Nope, I wouldn't have got that one.
I don't know if he knew that from knowing the movie or he knew Flint from Requiem for Methuselah.
Are you pre-screening these questions? Because that's 6 in a row I lost now. 6.
No. You know what? I have my little Seen It box.
Okay.
Right here. And look, see, I have a batch that's not opened and a batch that is opened.
Yes.
And I just take from the front of the batch. And then when we're done, I put it in the back of the batch.
You're so smart. I just started throwing the ones we read because I kept rereading the same ones over and over again.
Well, I might want to actually play Seen It one day.
Oh, that's a good idea. You should bring it to where we go next together.
Yeah, right.
Maybe Marco Island. Maybe Marco Island. They have a really nice subway on the island there.
The Seen It box has a picture of Archer on it, and we have yet to get an Enterprise question.
Nothing about Hoshi?
Right? Like, who has the best midriff in Starfleet?
Hoshi. I would have got that right.
Right? So John says he just knew the title. It wasn't about their Requiem connection.
When somebody says Our Man, the next word out of my mouth is Bashir.
Yeah, or Shimmerman.
Yeah, Shimmerman. That was pretty close. That's a half point.
That was damn clever, sir.
That was damn. Yeah, that's good. What's the box look like? You said did you just grab the box?
Oh, hang on.
Did I grab the box? Oh, my box is way over there.
So there.
Yeah. So there's got to be some questions in there.
Because he's got faith of the heart.
Going where my heart.
This is a DVD game, so already we can't play it. Nobody's got a DVD player anymore.
I have many, sir.
I know. I have.
I offered to send you a few.
No, I have one.
Oh, okay, cool. So then we can play it. We just have to bring the DVD player with us on vacay. The new Scenic Games, Rennie just got one not too long ago. It was just for movies, and it's like an app on your phone, and then you can stream it to your TV or something. So no more DVDs.
Yeah, it seems like this is so way antiquated now, right?
Yeah. Well, I have the VHS Star Trek video game.
Of course you do.
Of course.
Are we playing that? Are we playing that on a bonus episode?
No, the bonus episode will be the Star Trek game show hosted by John Delancey as Q. So that's coming up. So all you Twitchers out there, all you people who Twitch.
See, we video game. We
game. And then look us up. We did Star Trek Borg and we did Star Trek Klingon. They're out there.
Oh, we got so stuck on that Star Trek Borg thing.
That was the best part. Anytime I mention that to Rennie, she laughs her butt off. I was like, did you fast forward? She's like, no, I watched that whole hour. You guys stuck. We didn't cheat though. We kept going.
Yeah, I don't recommend it for anybody.
I enjoy it. I watch it every couple months. But that's me. Okay, what's next, Chris? Tell people what we're doing and where to find us. And we got TikToks and we got
we've been going too long. What's next is we're gonna wrap up. Is what's next. I got to go to work in the morning.
And we got to do MySpace.
Let's see what we got. Okay, so next is do you have a Trek and Tell?
Oh, Trek and Tell, I do. Following along with our.
I showed my Trek and Tell already.
Yep, your nice badge. I like it. Lower Decks.
My first swag.
Well, I got to show you the badge I got. Rennie in Vegas is really cool. She had me go on a mission to find it. Wow. Badgie.
I tell you what, you have your badgie, I have mine.
Yep, how appropriate, right?
Mm-hmm. But what of Lazarus?
But what of Badgie? So that completes my known Lower Decks collection. I don't know if there was an exclusive one, if anybody knows, but I couldn't find any other than the 5 on the package, but I have all 5.
Well, there you go. And there's the set. All badges all the time here.
Badgie. I have. Let me not put that on the fog machine. That'll melt.
And what is we kind of did final thoughts. Did we give our rating?
I'm going to tease this for Too Short a Season.
That's right. You were supposed to do like an unboxing tonight, but we've gone on too long.
Yeah, Too Short a Season. Come back to watch what's in this box from StarTrek.com.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. I like it. So,
now what?
Final thoughts and ratings.
Okay, I'll let you go first while I think about mine.
Okay. I mean, I think I've already said a lot of it. I surprisingly deep episode idea wise, I guess message, morals, and meanings wise for both like Klingon culture and for using Klingon culture as an allegory to tell a more current story. And that's sometimes when I like science fiction the best, and it's what Star Trek has always excelled at traditionally. So good on you, Lower Decks, for getting there. I feel like I saw some of that in the Money episode when I went on and on about being a socialist. And it's just nice to see Lower Decks that is not perfunctory for me. It's making me think about stuff. It's making me consider either bigger questions about our society or the Star Trek universe as a whole, or in this case, the best of both. I get a little bit of both. So for that, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to say 4.5 desiccated bloodworm, blood wine husks out of 5.
Nice. I like it. I would agree with you on the reasons. That's what the last episode lacked for me, unless we were just not smart enough to catch what they were putting out there. But I just didn't see any message, moral meaning, any overall like Star Trekkiness to it. You know, it was just something different. But this one really, for me, it was in a way poignant, maybe because of the timing, intentional or not. But it you know, it's that meme where you know, it's like me sad, and then Star Trek, and it's like Data hugging you or something like that. And in times of sadness and desperation and confusion, it's always nice to turn to Star Trek and just, you know, either for escapism or just make you feel good. And this episode was the first thing that made me feel good after I was down for quite a while. So
can't underestimate that, right?
Huh?
Can't underestimate that.
No. So I appreciated the episode, and like I said, the opening, I love the different version of the opening song. And if they put an album out, I hope that's on there, because that was beautiful. And I'm going to give it, you know me, when I like an episode, I might go a little bit over 5, but I'm going to go with 7-month-old Gox, but not in the good way.
Very good. Very
so
good.
I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad. So good. We're of accord on this one, and we want to know what all of you out there, all of you Treksplorers, think. You can tell us what you think here on the YouTube channel. Just go to the comments below. That's youtube.com/Treksplloration. You can join us on our Patreon site at Treksplloration. That's patreon.com/Treksplloration. That's what I meant to say. Mm-hmm. You can join there as part of the community. You don't have to be a monthly subscriber, so please go and just kick with us, kick back with us. So you can also find us on Instagram at Treksplloration Pod. You can X us at Treksplloration. You can get us on the TikToks. I guess it's tiktok.com/Chris
and I will be dancing.
Right, we'll be doing the floss dance. We'll be doing the gawk dance. The gawk. You can email us Trekspllorationpod@gmail.com. You can give us a call on the phone, 707-847-6682. You can mail us at the P.O. Box, P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705. Send something there. Give me a thrill. I look every weekend, and it makes my week when there's something in there. Even if it's just a little something saying, hey, and I'll just say, hey. Anyway, P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705.
I did get the letter from Linda via our PO box. So Serenity's going to open that, I think, on when we're doing the Star Trek game. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So it's another unveiling from one of our wonderful Treksplorers. She is our cadet. Listen, Linda. Also, the first caller to Treksplloration Live. Yes. So loving it. And you can also find us on Twitch now. So Twitch us on up, baby. Twitch it up. All right, so Albie, coming up next on our Lower Decks recaps, we have Season 5, Episode 5, already halfway through. And it's Starbase 80?
Starbase 80.
What?
So
Starbase 80?
They kind of built this up a little bit with Captain Freeman from the alternate, slightly different universe being on Starbase 80. So, and we've been there before, right?
Yeah. I think that's where they put Mariner when she got kicked off the Cerritos.
Yeah, and was that part of the first Contact episode, or am I combining the two? I don't know.
I honestly don't remember.
But maybe I'll go back and rewatch that episode before I watch the Starbase 80. So should be good.
Cool. And
next on TNG, we got Too Short a Season.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Pushing it as far as we can. What?
Yeah, I guess Season 1 episode, I don't know. Too short a season.
Too long an episode.
Yeah.
But we got to do it. So we got to get past it. So we just got to eat that elephant.
Maybe we'll do it Saturday night.
Something like that.
Hot time Saturday night.
You're the one that has a schedule. So whenever you're free.
You got it.
Just be on the lookout for that.
And we want to also remind everybody to go to our sister channel, the Quantum Leap Podcast, for the month of Matt. We're going to be doing some more special programming this weekend. We'll be doing the second live reading of my Quantum Leap novel right there. You can see it behind me. Foreknowledge. We read the first 60 pages last Saturday. You can find that
was fun.
at youtube.com/Quantum Leap Podcast and catch up with us there. And then we'll be doing the next 60 pages this weekend coming up. So
and
that'll be Saturday, the 9th, I believe. That's
Saturday about 8 p.m., a little bit after probably.
Yeah, around 8. And you know us, when we say 8 p.m., we mean 9:30, but
exactly.
We'll be there.
But that's just to raise funds for our friends Matt's family. So
and we've already had money coming in. So
we're good. We're doing good.
Successful so far. So.
Yeah, I was surprised how generous everyone was, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Terrific. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us here live. Thank you for the support that you've shown us as well. And I think that this is just phenomenal to me that we have viewers and listeners and commenters and callers, and
And we
like
appreciate
a thrill.
you all. We appreciate our crew. Yeah, it's our crew, and our crew is building. We're ragtag, but we're getting there. I appreciate it.
This is how Martok started.
Yeah, Martok. Exactly. So for Treksploration, I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next time.